Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 14th to the 20th of December 2015. We had a new moon in Sagittarius on Friday, just gone, and that is a very New Year kind of a feeling, even though it's actually coming in before the solstice and Christmas. We've got a 2-week window now, opening up a big landscape, going on a journey and expanding our minds in the process. Because when there's a new moon, that's the sun and the moon in the same sign. So to have the sun and the moon in Sagittarius, there is direction, we do have focus and we want to know where we're going, but it's not about racing to the finish line. It's very much about learning from the journey and going and exploring the wider world. And that can be very internal. This doesn't have to be activity based, but there's much that can be learnt and explored at this time. We also have Mercury recently gone into Capricorn, which likes to set a long goal and then put all the small pieces into place in order to get there. So we've got a double beginning feeling at the beginning of the week. Mercury is about to go retrograde, so this will be a long time for Mercury to be in Capricorn. So it's worth having a think about what's important to us, what our goals are, where we're heading, what we'd like to put our energy into, but then to sit back a little bit, not be too controlling, and allow the landscape, allow the people, allow the situations to come to us, and just live on a day-to-day basis with very much a view to learn and to expand. We're still very much coming out of the Saturn-Neptune square as well, so there has been much to learn. Can even be learning about how we react to things. Because Saturn in Sagittarius is taking us on a 2.5-year journey of learning, but Neptune in Pisces can sometimes want to hide away from reality and create a comfortable fantasy. So one of the things with this square that we might have been learning about ourselves is how much we run away from the truth, or do we get caught up in the illusion, or do we even get caught up in what's given to us as reality and give our energy away in that way. So it's the Saturn harsh reality versus the Neptune desire for fantasy. Where do we stand in that equation? Are we trying to run away completely and not take any responsibility, or are we getting too caught up in things like daily politics and the issues of the day and not leaving time for intuition and imagination and creating the opposite within us, so that we're finding that balance? So we're coming out of a very tough square there, but we've learnt in ourselves, are we avoiding, are we taking on too much, and where's the line? Because the veils between awake and asleep, if you like, are very thin right now, and it's up to us to find our comfortable centre. By the time we get to Thursday, this is the beginning of the festival of Saturnalia, which was quite interesting in Roman times, a little bit like April Fool's Day. The master had to wait on the servant. So this is going to be a good day to observe where we're giving our authority away and where we're serving false masters, and take back our power, because it should be our higher, deeper sovereign self that we're serving first, our divinity, rather than giving our energy away to other people that have given themselves the title of controllers. So have a look at your view on authority, who you put in charge of your life, who's the real master, and whether you can take back that power on Thursday. On Friday, it's the last day of the 13th sign, Ophiuchus, so we're going back into Sagittarius now. As we spoke about last week, Ophiuchus dips his toe into the zodiac between Scorpio and Sagittarius, and it's a very strange time. There's a very strange energy around this sign. But now as we go direct into Sagittarius, and we're heading towards a full moon on Christmas Day in the family sign of Cancer, we can prepare now to grow and glow and shine and embrace those holy days, embrace family and generosity and togetherness, as the sun is out of Ophiuchus and into Sagittarius. So the holidays begin here really on Friday. By the time we get to Saturday and Sunday, we're just before the winter solstice, so the 19th and 20th of December are coming into the darkest days, the days with the least daylight. So it's a bit of a tricky one in the current calendar, because this is possibly one of the busier weekends for those with corporate and family preparations for the Christmas period. But this is actually a time when it's better off spent in reflection and in hibernation, because we're currently forced to get up and work the same amount of hours as we would in the summer, in the lighter days, and that's not really very natural. It would have been a time where we would have got up with the light and gone to bed with the light, and not given ourselves so much activity and responsibility to go out and be productive. And yet this weekend is seen as the weekend before Christmas, so there'll be many partying and many shopping and many planning. So see if you can find a balance here, because it's very important to rest up and to be still and to hibernate. Another benefit of resting up right now, or at least being present enough, is that Mercury passes over the point that it will retrograde back to in late January. So we're heading towards a Mercury retrograde in Capricorn. We've seen that Mercury just go into Capricorn, so we're setting those goals, but we do need to be a bit flexible, because at the weekend Mercury will pass over the point that it will go back to. So whatever comes up at the weekend is going to be a signal of what the revisal story of the Mercury retrograde will be. So what happens is Mercury passes over a point, keeps going, goes all the way forwards until it turns retrograde, and then comes all the way back to this point in order that we can revise what we've learnt, and then goes forwards again so that we can make those changes. So if you keep your ears open and you have enough stillness and presence this weekend, then you may be able to get a hint of the kind of lessons and inspirations that Mercury retrograde in Capricorn will be bringing you. Because this makes the retrograde so much easier if you go straight to the question, well, what am I learning here? What did I want to learn? What's the point of this? Rather than just getting annoyed that things don't quite go to plan. So obviously on a weekend when people are trying to make plans, this will be an interesting one to see how much they shift around, but what is the real meaning behind that? And there could be an element of attachment and control. Are we trying to get everything neatly into its place rather than letting it flow and letting it take its own course? So ears up on the weekend to see what that Mercury point will actually indicate, because that's going to take us all the way through to the end of January on that next learning curve and into our first Mercury retrograde of 2016. So a tricky one really. No planets actually changing signs. Lots of old festivals. We've got Lucia, the Festival of Light, on the 13th, Saturnalia on the 17th, and then a little bit more of a ritualistic coming out of Ophiuchus on the 18th. So lots of tradition around this week, and lots of potential ritual and cleansing as we go into the longest nights and as we prepare ourselves to be reborn with the sun. And next week we'll be looking at the winter solstice, which lasts from the 21st to the 24th of December, as we start to see the sun, the daylight hours grow and the sun being reborn. So for now it's just a sense of hibernating, staying aware, having a look at what we've learnt, both from that square with Saturn and Neptune and from the fact that we're living out of time with the natural calendar, so we're trying to push outwards and organise and push ahead just at the time when we need to kind of draw it in and be a bit more still and have a look at what's going on internally and what we're learning on the journey. So it's a good time to pull inward, to be present, to balance activity versus inactivity, to be with those darkest nights, to be in that hibernation mode, and to keep our ears and eyes open for the messages that are coming thick and fast, ones that we can really learn from here if we're not too busy and being pulled out of ourselves. So those are the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week. If you'd like to gift somebody with a reading or an online course, then just to let you know once more that all of my services are available online and with vouchers. So please do contact me if you're looking for meaningful festive presents that will last into the whole year. There's a variety of short courses, there's the big one, and there's also Skype readings available. So please do contact me, zoeheinz7@gmail.com.